Hello and welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. This is one another very interesting and conversation series of Banking Frontiers Coffee Share. In this edition, I am once again introducing you to an industry luminary, and this time it happens to be from the insurance sector. This luminary has spent over 12 to 13 years in the area of insurance as the Chief Information Technology Officer in various companies, and today he is the Chief Information Technology Officer of PNB MetLife. He is sharing with us a lot of insightful experiences related to how the organizations are modernizing from the legacy system, what is happening in the cloud transformation space, what is happening in the security space, how are organizations securing themselves in the recent constantly changing milestones of compliance, especially in the area of security, and a lot more, with some wonderful advisory for the upcoming CISOs and CIOs in the sector. Friends, join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjay Karnatak, the Chief Information Technology Officer of PNB MetLife. Sanjay, welcome to Banking Frontiers Live.
Thanks, Babu. Thanks for having me here.
You have been doing a lot of interesting stuff after you are taking over as a Chief Information Technology Officer of in the last 1 year. And the insurance industry itself has also been going through a lot of changes, a lot of revolutionary changes, lot of adoption of InsurTech, and a lot more promises for the Indian insurance sector, which is really growing in leaps and bounds. I just wanted to know few things about while the insurance industry is rapidly embracing technology led transformation. What are some of the cross industry technology practices or framework that you see effectively being adapted in the insurance domain?
Insurance as an industry is also evolving over the past few years, even more so as the scale and size of the industry is also growing, and complexity is increasing in terms of the new channels of distribution, insurtechs coming in, so on and so forth. So, insurance, industry might not be looked at as a leader in the technology space from an industry perspective. What I have observed is it is doing well in terms of adopting some of the best practices from more advanced tech-based industries like banks or telecom. Some of these, which I can think around, is taking cloud, let's say, as an example. Maybe insurance was not the first one to jump into cloud from various reasons perspective, but yes, over the years you will see that in the past years, all the insurers are taking that leap of faith on cloud, trying to work out their cloud strategy. It could be hybrid, it could be completely on cloud, it could be cloud strategy also. So depending on the need of individual insurers, they have been working on to adopt cloud. Uh, on the If you look at the data side, traditionally insurers have been using structured data primarily for their use in their processes, in their analytics. But in the last few years, there's a spurt of unstructured data which is coming in, and the new technologies which are allowing companies like us to be able to analyze that unstructured data. So the need for unstructured data, mingling it with the structured data, has led to insurers to look at re-platforming their data strategy also, and kind of look at data cloud, the data on cloud, or even hybrid, or data lakes on cloud or hybrid. Data lake house is also emerging to take care of some of the inefficiencies of data lake. So that's another area which I've seen where insurers have taken a cue from the leaders in the other industries and working rapidly towards. Security is another area where there's a lot to learn from players in, let's say, in banking or other sectors where data is much more sensitive than insurers. But looking at the recent incidents, insurers and the regulators getting really tough around it, and people are actually looking at zero trust security architectures to strengthen their security. So this is another area where insurance is actively adopting from cross industry experience. And we do have legacy. We now insurance is also around 25, 26 year old industry. So we have created legacy for ourselves, even if they were modern technology at one point in time. So there are the insurers are also looking at working in an agile fashion to to replace some of the legacy solutions, replatform them, or refactor them completely, or actually replace them somehow. So that work is also started in the industry, and along with it comes an interesting observation which we are also trying to follow is a trend of insourcing where when whereas some larger organizations, some larger banks or other operators uh, have been doing globally insourcing as a strategy, but I've seen some of the insurers also actively taking part in this, moving in this direction to ensure that they have better control on what they're delivering. Speed to market is improved, to use tech as a differentiator. That's also behind some of these strategy of insourcing, and then which is leading to tech modernization also. So these are some of the areas, Babu, where I feel that insurers, while entering late into these areas, but they are adopting them fast, and probably that's a factor of a growing industry, which is scaling up fast.
Absolutely. And the Indian industry of insurance is yet maturing compared to what is happening in the West, where insurance is very, very deep rooted and it has diversified into leaps and bounds. Whereas the Indian insurance industry is just penetrating into a certain part of the population. It is still below, way, way below the global percentages of insurance, if you see. From the technology perspective, when you are looking at it, even those who have gone into the cloud have also started looking at how to make it hybrid and push certain things out of the cloud which is not economical, because a lot of CTOs have been speaking about things that are not very economical on cloud also, which they are moving back, like you said, in sourcing. So a lot of such kind of technology in sourcing has also been observed in different parts of the world, including in India. So I think it's a very interesting trend. Balancing both the legacy and modernization technologies are very, very critical. Interesting. And on one side, insurers have been shifting from policy administration systems to more integrated customer centric ecosystems. What are the most critical priorities for technology teams in life insurance, especially when you are moving away from this policy administration systems to more customer centricity?
So as you know, the in life insurance, especially in India, the policy admin system is a kind of a legacy system, which is based out of AS 400 based solutions for most of the insurers, and to take care of this, which is definitely not a very customer friendly application. It is very robust. It has its own value. It is, from a reliability and availability point of view, there is no match. But yes, ease of process enablement or ease of serving the customer or the distributor, there has to be a different approach. So usually, what I've observed is most of the insurers who have a legacy kind of a core, they have tried to follow a strategy of follow the course strategy, where you try to make it a system of records because it's important. All the policies data sits there. The kind of experience which you can give to them is very different. And one way of doing it is, if you are able to build adjunct systems like, a workflow solution outside, right? Or a rule engine which is outside, or uh, which is a data platform which is able to take real-time data, or sometimes some of them real-time, some on batches, to that data store outside, and create some modern technology front ends and enable the core with APIs, so that at least a layer above the core, so that the APIs can be exposed. So if we have this ecosystem, then what you have done is you have actually reduced your dependency on core as far as your business processes are concerned. And then you can play around with your processes easily, create a new front end, which is much more comfortable to our end users, or expose certain APIs to our customer-facing applications, which are which can respond to the customer faster. The data can be fetched on a real-time basis. Some transaction can be performed from a servicing perspective on the real-time basis. So these are the strategies which are we have also followed, and I think most of the insurers doing that, which is and degrees can vary. Some have done extensively, some a little less, but net the direction is the same, because uprooting a core, especially in the life insurance, is not very easy, and since there are benefits of reliability and consistency, data consistency is there in the existing core. So I think that's the approach which everybody is following in the industry, which is serving well, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Interestingly, you cannot do a mid-air refueling every time, change the core immediately. It is
Yeah,
not a possibility every time. It happens on a microservices architecture base in most of the cases, and especially in larger banks, larger financial institutions, you can actually understand how it can be changed gradually, because otherwise you cannot put your operations to stand still while this core transformation is happening.
very
So
true.
I think that is where organizations, really look at how to leverage this API strategy, do initial part bit by bit kind of thing, whereas the experience of the customer remains seamless while this transformation is taking place. The other thing that none of us can avoid is the innovation piece, because insurance is a ever evolving industry, and with insurtech coming in into the picture, the customer experience has changed drastically, and no insurance company can stay away from it, so they have to innovate. On the other side, you are a highly regulated entity. You have to go through the stringent compliance norms without compromising on data security, compliance, or governance. So, when you do this onboarding of innovations, when you try to adopt newer innovation, what are those kind of specific frameworks or practices that really helps you to strike a balance between the innovation, onboarding innovation on one side, but at the same time don't go overboard too much and ensure that you are definitely in line with the compliance which is non-negotiable for the financial institutions. How do you tread this thin line?
Tricky to have this balance, because so we have an innovation team which is part of our technology team itself, and they would, as you said, they would like to go whole hog and try anything and everything which they can, but yes, we can't definitely cross a brown boundary, that where we are none of us, be it an innovation team or otherwise, allowed to breach the sacrosanct line of compliance, right? So we have to, but whatever we do, we have to do within the boundary of compliance. That is point number one. And to do that, the good part is that regulator also has offered sandboxes. So if you want to try something really out of the way, which is some kind of a breakthrough, which might be on the borderline of compliance and other areas, I think sandbox is the right answer to that. Then we go and apply for the same, and with the regulators watch, we can and any experimentation on that sandbox. However, having said that, not everything can be sent to the sandbox. So whenever we have a particular new initiative which is getting taken up, be it in innovation area, especially in the area of innovation, we have a mechanism to have an oversight on it in terms of ensuring that everything is within the uh, ambit of regulatory and compliance, and we are not breaching that. And if that is so, then we can go ahead and approach that. So that there's a check kind of a which has to be achieved if a solution is venturing into a kind of a borderline case. That doesn't mean that we don't innovate. So yes, we encourage people to look for new solutions, new areas of innovation, work with business, work with insurtechs who are playing in this space, and come back with solutions which could be cutting edge for us. So those efforts are always on, and yes, but we keep on continuously guarding us against any outreach which is beyond the regulatory realm. So that is definitely not acceptable.
Yeah, yeah, you have to really strike the balance. On one side, you have to keep up the innovation, pep up the new business. On the other side, you have to, also be compliant and make sure
Yep.
that there is no regulatory X on any of these activities. On the other side, when you are driving direct business value in life insurance, and technology is one of the biggest piece which helps to drive direct business value in insurance, for that matter. On the other side, there is the mundane IT task, the regular operation task as well. I have been talking to a lot of CIOs in the industry today, and most of them definitely want to be seen or are constantly working as a strategic enabler rather than a support engine in the entire ecosystem of banking or insurance or technology. How have you been positioning yourself?
So the leadership of the organization is actually we are at a stage, and the way the technology is powering business, right? Especially direct business or adjacent to direct businesses, or even the since life insurance is a more of an assisted sale still, even the role of technology in assisted sale, which is a big role to play. That even the organizational leaders, the CEOs themselves see technology as a strategic, component in the overall, organization. So that makes the life of actually technology leaders much easier as compared to earlier days. It's definitely being looked at as strategic enabler. I have heard CEOs talking that we want to be more of an IT company than which also sells insurance. So those are the statements coming out, and so that means that the value of technology, the acknowledgement of the fact that technology is a strategic enabler for business is definitely very much there. And we know that technology can create collaboration across the organization, can empower functions to innovate, right? Think out of the box, innovate. It also, as interestingly seen, that driving agile projects in the organization is somehow is linked to the technology projects which are being developed, in an agile fashion. There's a learning which is emanating from the IT's way of working. Technology and the data these days being used, and analytics being used to drive business growth. A few years back, people were very hesitant. The business guys are very hesitant in using, let's say, analytical models. Nowadays, it's an ask that that's the first step. Probably they want to get into that. Okay, what's the propensity of this? XYZ, and then I will take it from there. So analytics is becoming the first step probably. And this is coming out of business people and not technology. So keep doing that. A new technology coming in, how can that be leveraged to generate new business, create efficiency, reduce cost, collaborate within the organization. If these things can be spearheaded by the technology leader, I think then it makes the task even more easier to position uh, technology as the strategic enabler in the organization.
Now, for organizations that are embarking on large scale digital transformation, of course, you have to do digital transformation rapidly. For organizations which are embarking on this, and as an experienced CIO who has seen this entire transformation journey, what are some of those most crucial strategic considerations or pitfalls to avoid from a technology leadership perspective? What would you advise the leaders who are going for a massive transformation journey?
A few, this is through my experience and maybe soul searching after large programs, running large programs, some successes and some failures. A few points are very important when somebody is envisaging a large transformation in the organization. Very first thing is positioning these transformation projects as business projects and not technology projects. Sometimes people tend to project them as technology initiatives. They become technology initiatives only. They don't become business projects. Our technology team has to play a second fiddle, to push them as a business projects. It's worth it. It's also important to ensure that upfront, right in the beginning, the key success factors and the success matrix is identified for. Otherwise, for a CIO, it's very difficult to justify the success of the project once it is done, and if you are not measure it properly. So identifying what are the key KPIs which need to be improved through this project, and then do a pre and post analysis, and so that you can justify success. One more thing which I would suggest is, if it is a large program where multiple parts are going to move in the technology arena, then it's advisable to look at overall architecture also, and should not just jump into one project and then later on find that you have completely shaken up the overall architecture of technology. So doing architectural fitment of the whole program, if it's a large program, you should know that this is the current architecture. This is going to be during the transformation phase. This is a transitory architecture, and this is the final architecture I'm going to have. So I think that view is very important for the CTOs to be in control of the overall projects and the program and the technology per se. Change management. Many times we ignore, especially the technology leaders. Sometimes they feel it's a business responsibility. So, but I think it's in the interest of the overall program for the CIO, CTOs also, to ensure that they focus a lot on change management, on the user training, understand the culture of the organization, create champions, so all those things which need to be done to ensure that a good large transformation goes through a right phases of change management. I think those are very, very important. So I think these are some of the things, if we do follow, then I think even the larger programs should go smoothly.
That is quite a lot of experience, and it basically speaks volume of what you have done and where you have come from. So, especially when you look at the overall technology framework grounds up, and not just look it into bits and pieces and do some plugins, because the plugins will always result into a lot more work at a later date, which ultimately becomes very difficult to manage too many strings together. So that overall, and of course, what you spoke about, what is the value that all this is going to get in at the end of the day? That makes a
Yeah.
lot more sense for looking into, and the overall business value and business objective ultimately has to drive the technology direction and not the technology to drive the business value. So I think, and you have shared some very, very critical things with us during this conversation. Thank you very much, Sanjay, for this insightful and wonderful conversation. It was very deep, and I feel we still have a lot more to cover, but I want to keep it for the next time. But the kind of conversation that you have had, the insights that you have given out of your 12 years of experience in the insurance sector will definitely be a rule book for most of the future CIOs to come in. Thank you very much for sharing your information, and we look forward to have more such insightful conversations with you in the near future.
Thank you, Babu. It was a pleasure talking to you.